Hello everyone, many greetings from Vienna. My name is Altan Sahin. I am part of the Austrian Energy Agency, and the main focus of my work lies in directly working with consumers and behavior change. And today I would like to introduce you to our activities in one of our current Horizon 2020 projects. I'll share my presentation now. So in our project named EMPOWER, we are working on visual language for energy poor households, and with which we want to facilitate the communication with affected households and thereby encouraging the support and also the implementation of awareness-raising measures. I would like to elaborate a bit more on our project EMPOWER in general. Its full title is Actions to Mitigate Energy Poverty in the Private Rented Sector. And energy poverty is a critical factor to achieve a fair energy transition, but it still remains on high levels in Europe because of increasing energy costs and also the slow progress in increasing energy efficiency in general. And mitigating energy poverty in the private rented sector is a particular challenge due to the difficulty to identify and quantify energy poor households in this sector, and also the difficulty to actually support these households with energy efficiency measures due to structural problems like the lack of information or the different incentives of tenants and landlords and similar problems. So in our project, we want to tackle both of these challenges, making energy poverty in the private rented sector more visible, and also test and implement measures to promote energy efficiency in order to alleviate energy poverty. Another goal is to increase the capacity of decision makers to understand and mitigate energy poverty by designing and implementing 10 different measures in 7 countries in Europe. These measures include grants for renovation or refurbishments, training and information offers, and also program support measures like guidelines for the identification of energy poverty. Another important outcome of our project will be the European-wide GIS-based tool, the Energy Poverty Dashboard, which will consist of 2 main elements. The first one being an online map showing the geography of energy poverty in the rented sector and where possible in the private rented sector, specifically for European countries. And this will allow the visualization of target groups, a range of indicators and structural factors, and it will be based on statistical data from the European Energy Poverty Observatory and similar sources. The second main element of the dashboard will be an interactive map showing energy efficiency policies related to the private rented sector, as well as visual overviews of organizations related to energy poverty in each country, operating on different geographical scopes, from national to regional, and also on different operational scales. And on the next slide, you can see all the consortium members of EMPOWER. The project is coordinated by the Institute for European Energy and Climate Policy. Furthermore, we have various national energy agencies, universities, scientific institutions, NGO, and also, importantly, the International Union of Property Owners. Through their participation, we can make sure that we not only take into account the perspective of energy poor households themselves, but also that of landlords. And through this, we want to ensure that we can develop solutions that are working for both sides, and we can take into account the problems and perspectives of both parties. Now I would like to go into more detail about our EMPOWER activities in Austria. Our aim here is to increase the ability to directly communicate with energy poor households with according measures. And there are already various support offers available from nationally to internationally, ranging from information material to counseling sessions and calculation tools. But they're often not insufficient because existing support and information formats are often not prepared in a suitable form, because our target group often lacks the time, resources, or educational background to really engage with sophisticated materials and tools. So our goal was to use visual language is a medium to directly communicate with energy poor households, avoiding language and information barriers. And for this purpose, we are using one of the central elements of MPOR, a co-creation process with local stakeholders in our country. In our case, this means a close collaboration with Eco Counseling in Vienna. They are offering advice on energy issues for many decades now, and are also specialized in working with energy poor households. So in our project, they bring in their extensive expertise in directly working with energy poor people, while we bring in our expertise in behavior change and awareness raising. However, the goal of our project is not to reinvent the wheel. Rather, we want to build on already existing materials whose content is already relevant for energy poor households, and make this information more accessible by means of visualization. And we also want, or will involve energy poor households directly in our development process. After we have finished the design of our new materials, with a strong focus on visual elements, we are going to test them directly in practice in counseling sessions of our local partner. This way we can obtain the feedback of the advised persons on the comprehensibility of the new materials, and also evaluate whether the redesign with a strong visual focus actually represents an added value for them or not. And our aim is to have 50 test counseling sessions in Vienna, with Vienna being the federal state in Austria with the highest share of people at risk of poverty. And originally I had plans to present our finalist materials here today, but unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there were some delays in our project and we are still in the developing process. However, we plan to finish our final graphical design over the summer. And one of the main bases for our idea was the fact that solutions for energy poor households to reduce their energy consumption and their energy cost need to be cheap and easy to implement. And we also wanted to focus on tips that can increase their well-being without any need for major investments. Because many energy poor people are already trying to save energy, but often by sacrificing living comfort for it. This is something that we wanted to counteract. And another important fact to consider was that many people affected by energy poverty are not digital natives. For example, elderly people, and especially elderly women, as they are often affected by old age poverty. So it was important to make sure that our new designs are also well used in physical form. And another challenge was that we had to address was that the willingness to accept such support offers often heavily depends on a certain level of trust, because people who take advantage of such offers fear of being are afraid of being stigmatized as being poor. So this can even lead to them straightforward refusing even direct financial support. So it was important to have a partner on board who already enjoys much trust on this area, which we achieved thanks to Eco Counseling. Through this, we also wanted to make sure that we meet the challenge of energy poverty as a multidimensional problem and not just see the whole topic from a pure energy perspective, but also take into account the social problems behind it. And as I have already mentioned, our proposed solution to increase the accessibility of already available offers is to put more focus on visual elements. In our case, this means pictograms, because pictograms can speak more than 1,000 languages. And we are planning to create fact sheets about the three topics of saving electricity, saving water, and also healthy living through proper heating and cooling. And in the course of our development process, we basically took already used information material of our partner Eco Counseling and extracted different easy to implement energy saving tips from them. And on this basis, created a new design with a strong focus on visual elements with as less text as possible. And in the end, a graphical professional will finalize this into proper fact sheets. And on the bottom of the slide, you can see on the left an exemplary excerpt from one of the materials that we used as a basis. And it shows information on proper ventilation. And on the right, you can see how we would like to try to show this information in a more compact way. And the idea will be to really mainly use elements like you can see here on the bottom right on our new fact sheet. And as I have told you before, there is also a form of evaluation foreseen in our development process through the feedback of consulted households. This way we want to obtain feedback on various indicators like the relevance of the contents, the type of the information shown, or the type of information presentation, and also the comprehensibility. For this purpose, the advisors who will conduct our test counseling sessions will directly document the feedback. And through the ongoing consultations of our partner, we will also be able to assess whether there were any long-term changes in behavior and if there were any measurable increases in the well-being of the households through our tips and fact sheets. And afterwards, when the development of the fact sheets is finalized, we will communicate the results to various multipliers in Austria and also make them free available, both on the energy and also in the social sectors. And another advantage of our redesign is that they decrease the language barriers and reduce translation work. So it would also be more easily possible for other organizations to use these materials internationally. And another aim of our project is to use partner organizations to replicate this intervention in nationwide. This brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope our concept was interesting for you. And hopefully we will be able to present our finalized results on another occasion. Thank you very much for your attention.